Hello and welcome back to American Cinema. This week is Lecture 9, the 80s Undercurrents. Now I've labeled it that because we're focusing on films that don't fit neatly into the Reagan era of cinema. In fact, they critique, comment, or provide an alternative voice to that cinema. Because the Reagan era continues on through the 80s. He's reelected in 84. He's more popular than ever. And the films continue to reflect the values. We see a lot of big budget blockbuster, happy glossy type films, very high key lighting. But in the 80s, we also hit some stumbling blocks for the Reagan administration. We have the Iran-Contra affair, which is a scandal that nearly brings down his presidency. We have the emerging AIDS crisis, which had previously been ignored by his administration. And also we have the 1987 stock market crash, which is a direct result of his deregulatory policies. So the films also reflect this growing discontent. We see some films that are really commenting and critiquing, and that's why I call it the 80s Undercurrents. Now, despite all this, Reagan's vice president, George Bush, is elected in 1988 as president. And also which follows is the fall of the Berlin Wall and really a kind of an end to the Cold War that happens on Bush's watch. So other trends to look at here from this time is the formation of corporate synergy around a film, and this takes place with the film Batman. They really kind of figure out their model and bring it together of corporate entities working together. So there's a song, there's merchandise, there's toys, there's advertising, there's cross promotion. This is where the film really comes together under Batman, and this is the model that we see now today that is played out in the MCU. The franchise model where you plan to make multiple films. Previously with Jaws and Star Wars, they just wanted to make one film. I don't care what they say. And then sequels were made from the success of the original film. But with this franchise model, you're going to make multiple films and you're planning it out in advance. Also, we see the emergence of Vietnam War films in the 80s. It's really this time when America kind of comes to terms with the Vietnam War and their participation in it. Horror genre, as I mentioned, is really huge in the 80s. The Halloween series continues. Talk about films planning and continuing. You see Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, very popular. 80s is when horror really comes of age and becomes the most popular genre with teens, and that probably continues to today. But what we also see in the 80s is the beginning of an independent era. Towards the end of the 80s, a lot of alternative voices have been making small, low-budget independent films, and that's beginning to bubble up in reaction and response to the Reagan era. So some of the films we're going to focus on today, Blue Velvet, which is a great commentary on the 80s, a perfect 80s film in a certain way, but it opens with the white picket fence, but then it takes us deep inside the dark, surreal underbelly of that nostalgic traditional America, sort of exposes it a bit. And this is made by David Lynch, who goes on to make a lot of films that have this sort of twisted psychological surreal and a darker look, a darker tone to them than the other films of the 80s that we see. Next up we have Beetlejuice, which is made by Tim Burton. This sort of introduces the world to Tim Burton and his fantastic whimsical aesthetic that has sort of a goth whimsy to it. And he has the escapism and the fantasy of the 80s, but he is adding sort of a dark twist, a sort of a macabre. He touches on death, something that wasn't being discussed in the 80s particularly. Up next we have Wall Street, which is a perfect 80s film and a perfect film to critique the 80s. It's made by Oliver Stone, who'd made a lot of earlier Vietnam War films, and now he kind of goes after Wall Street and he goes after that culture of greed. Even though his villain in the film, Gordon Gekko, actually becomes a hero to Wall Street traders after his greed is good speech in the film. Lastly, we end with Do the Right Thing, which is a masterpiece by Spike Lee, his third film. He has larger budget and distribution for this film. It's about a working class African American neighborhood in Brooklyn and the racial tensions there. One of the most honest portrayals of race Hollywood has ever produced. So a lot of these films also are a part of that burgeoning independent film that we'll see manifest next week in the independent era. So this week we're focusing on undercurrents, alternatives to the Reagan era that was going on at the time, alternatives to the blockbusters and the high glamour glitz. Okay, hope you enjoyed the summary. Reach out with any questions. Make sure you look at the video compilation, read the study guide, and have a great week.